No doctors were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome back to No Ginger. I'm Samar.
I'm Ash, and we are here once again to discuss Japan's lack of ginger.
Yes. Have you had any lack of ginger this week, Miss Ash?
Have I? You know, I do have a no ginger. You know how everyone who comes to Japan loves to talk about how good Japan's public transportation system is?
I mean, coming from America, and I've only been to Belgium.
Yeah, in Europe it's really bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's not timely.
Yeah, so in comparison, yeah.
So the thing is that I often hear Japanese public transportation getting praised so much for just always being on time. It's always so clean.
Are you complaining about the Oda-Q line?
Oh, I would love to complain about the Oda-Q line, okay? The Oda-Q-sen... Okay, if you don't know, the Oda-Q line runs from Shinjuku Station down towards West Kawasaki, back through Tokyo again at Machida, and then all the way down to Enoshima.
So it's going from like Tokyo, Kanagawa, back to Tokyo to somewhere else?
Well, that's just because of some weird gerrymandering, because I think Tokyo wanted to keep Machida because that city has a lot of like industrial... What's a good term? There's like some factories and stuff there, so they wanted those taxes.
Money.
So essentially what happens is Oda-Q goes down through like Yoyogi Uehara, Shimokitazawa, and then it gets to Noborito, and Noborito is in Kanagawa, just when you pass over the Tamagawa, the Tama River. And then you get to Shin Yurigaoka, and then as soon as you leave Shin Yurigaoka, you get back into Tokyo to Machida, and then you go through Machida back to Kanagawa to go down towards Enoshima or Hakone.
That's very convoluted.
It is very funny. And the thing about Oda-Q is that it runs on time.
Does it? Not when I
approximately, yeah, approximately 15% of the time, I think. And then, if you're following my commute, from there, you then take the Chuo line, the orange one.
Oh, that was horrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's just and because it runs straight through the middle of Tokyo, like if other lines are affected, then Chuo also gets shut down. So like the other day, the Saikyo-sen was stopped for someone standing on the tracks. What are you doing on the tracks? Just get off of the tracks. Why are you there? I do not need you.
They wanted to admire the scenery. Maybe they wanted a picture of the train incoming.
Like incoming. The last shot before Oh my gosh, yeah. So get off the tracks, kids. So because somebody was standing on the tracks at Saikyo, now Chuo line is shut down with a long delay as well. And luckily, how my commute is, I can just change routes and go a bunch of different ways to get to work. But some routes take longer than others. And all of this to say, like, I'm just really tired of listening to people talk about how great Japanese public transportation is. I understand that comparatively, it is.
I have a counter-argument.
But it's just often delayed. And so often it's delayed for like a signal failure. But there's also the other side of that, which is that a lot of the times people are just getting in the way of the trains.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, the trains are fine. It's the people.
Okay, but I didn't really want to talk about mental health and stuff today.
It's not always about mental health. Some people just drunk on the tracks.
Oh my goodness.
So it's not always mental health.
But anyway.
Yeah, my no ginger of this week actually has to do with the Oda-Q line.
Oh, do tell me more about the Oda-Q line. I love talking about the Oda-Q line.
On my way to visit your lovely house, I got off the train and noticed this old man. No, don't think like that.
I'm not even thinking. I have no thoughts.
No, so
this is no thoughts, no ginger. No one's home.
I got off and I see this old man and he's wearing a mask and it's very hot right now. It's like 33 degrees. And like his cheeks are bright pink. And he's like swaying a bit. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, and there's no barriers at my station.
Yeah, I'm just like, I will not watch an old person die in front of me. So like I stalked him a bit.
Just like following him around the train station.
Because like he was swaying, I was worried. So I was like, oh, should I do something? But I don't.
What could you do?
Well, if he's gonna fall off the tracks, I can pull him back.
So how closely were you standing behind this guy?
No, I was kind of separated. Like he was on one side of the platform and I was another. So I was just continuing to walk towards the exit to see where he was gonna go or what he was gonna do, if he's gonna fall over. Because he was swaying. I was just like, bro, take off that mask. You were about to pass out. But he swayed and then he got onto the Oda-Q line to go somewhere. And I was like, well, there's AC there.
There's AC, yeah.
Humans
He'll
there.
be fine.
As long as he doesn't fall into the tracks. So I guess my no ginger I stalked an old man for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Oh, I mean that's definitely like because you were there, it could have been a ginger situation.
Yeah.
But I will say that the number of people I have seen wearing masks and like their faces are bright red. They are clearly sweating, like more than just, I'm sweating because it's hot, but sweating because your body is desperately trying to cool itself down, you know? There's just like a different level to the amount of sweat. And you're just like, just take the mask off.
I was just like, that man is not wearing blush. Definitely not. Like, something is wrong, so I was concerned.
He might like blush. Yeah, let people do what they want.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but
I saw a lady the other day wearing 4 masks. 4?
In this heat.
I was staring at her ear so hard because I wanted to count like the number of bands I could see. And also there was like one of the masks had like some sort of tin breathing contraption, like to filter sort of thing. It was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. And then of course, naturally, she was also being horribly rude to like everyone this was on a bus. And she was being horribly rude to everybody, like just shoving and clearly acting like I should be in a seat. Like the way that she was like leaning on a seat where there was somebody probably about her same age sitting, but no mask, I guess. And she didn't have any tags on her bag or whatever to say like that she's got a medical condition or anything like that. You know, the heart and cross tag. So she was just being horribly rude and wearing 4 masks. And I was like, this woman is... That's no ginger. What can I do? It's crazy.
Bus. It's not the bus on the way to me, is it?
Yeah, it was.
Of course they have to be my neighbor. With my luck.
I was going the other direction. It was away from you. I was leaving your place.
Thank God. Escort them out, please.
So, and then when I got to the station, I like went into the convenience store really quick to grab a snack before getting on the train. She was there. And she wasn't in the convenience store, but I saw her back when I was trying to go through the barriers. So I go to the convenience store, I come out, and then I'm going through the barriers, and homegirl is sitting there still just tapping her card and keeps getting like a red notice, and I was like, that's what you get for being a bitch on the bus. Karma. It kept being like it would just say like C station staff on the screen. I would totally creeped because I was like, yeah, for sure, definitely a karmic action. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, so
Ash, what do you have for us today?
all right. So what I have for you today, I think you will talk a lot about this. I feel you're gonna have a lot to say. I think we both have a lot of stories.
I'm worried.
Okay, let's begin. Hello, Samar and Ash. I'm writing to get your opinion about doctors in Japan. Stop, don't make me laugh already. I have to read this.
Every person's favorite topic in Japan.
Yes. So, anyway, let's Let's read this. I'm writing to get your opinion about doctors in Japan. Last year, I fell off the stairs and had to go to the emergency room on my birthday.
Oh my god.
Long story short, the doctor was completely useless and gave me no treatment. So I went to a second one, and it was just as bad, and I ended up Googling how to heal my foot myself. Last week, I went to another doctor to get allergy tested, and I kid you not, the consultation was like 3 minutes. Anytime I go to any doctor for any reason, they all ask 3 questions and send me home like, bruh. Is it just my trash luck, or are all doctors here incompetent? P.S. All the doctors I see are English speaking, so they can't play the I can't understand card.
You're right. I do have a lot of things to say.
I knew you would.
8 years in Japan.
Yeah,
and
many doctor's visits. What did you have last year? A broken nose?
Yeah, so this sounds very similar to my broken nose.
All right, let's talk about that.
So I, for fitness purposes, wanted to play basketball with my friends. I haven't played a long time.
Engaging in physical activity.
Yes, to my detriment in the end. Because, I went to play basketball. The basketball smashed into my nose. And then the next day, my nose was, very red and, swollen. And my friend was like, you're probably fine. And I was just like, But then it was growing back crooked. And I was like, okay, I guess I am not fine. After
it
5 days.
It was starting to get noticeable. A few days in.
Yeah,
you were saying hey, can you see this? And I think some people were trying to be very nice about it, but it was very clearly noticeable.
Yeah, my cute little straight nose. It's not little, but it's straight.
You're
straight.
You're Yemeni. It's not little.
Straight. It was now boop boop.
Yeah, it was.
And I went.
It really looked like your whole nose had shifted off to the left side of your face.
Yeah, and it was frightening. And I went to an ENT near work, who was an English-speaking ENT. Homeboy took X-rays of me and then told me it's not broken. It's just cosmetic damage.
So that seems illogical.
Yeah, he was just like, he's just like, I can do surgery, but it's going to be super painful, and I don't recommend it. I think you should just live.
Painful.
Yeah.
What do we have anesthesia for?
Yeah, he was just like, it's going to be really painful and really horrible, and it's not guaranteed to work. And I was just like, what? Is it that bad? And he's just like, you're going to have cosmetic surgery if you want. And he's like, I can recommend you a whatever doctor, a plastic surgeon, to fix your nose. And I was like, I need a plastic surgeon. Remember, I called you. I was so upset. I was just like, plastic surgery? And it's not even I want to have plastic surgery. It was just, if you want to fix this. And I was just like, that's crazy. But luckily, my Japanese friend, one of them, saved my life. She was just like, absolutely not. Second opinion. You
always have to get a second opinion.
So then I went to a seikei-geka, which is a
kind of like a
orthopedic.
Orthopedic is it?
It's not really
chiropractor, but it's bone arranging doctor.
Bone something doctor. She said I should go there, and he had good reviews on Google, so I went. And he took X-rays, and he looked at me. He looked at the X-ray, and then he was just like, he said it wasn't broken. It's very broken. You need to go to the hospital. Now, mind you, this second doctor doesn't speak English. This is all Japanese.
Okay.
And was very nice, and he gave me everything and wrote the introduction to the hospital. I go to the hospital, and the seikei-geka recommended me to a different one in the hospital, but they wouldn't see me. They sent me immediately to the ENT, and I was so mad because my introduction was to the
orthopedic
doctor, the surgeon, and they wouldn't see me. They sent me to the ENT. I'm like, why are you sending me to the ENT? The ENT couldn't help me. I'm doomed. But then the ENT is just like, oh. Actually, he takes me, and then he does all the X-rays. He's like, your nose is broken in 6 places.
6 places. I didn't know. I was thinking it was broken, but not 6 times.
Yeah, he was just like, it's incaving. It's gone inward. it's crushed. And I was just like, and I'm just like, what was gonna happen to me now? And he's just like, oh, it'll be fine. I'll just push it back. He's like, you should have come earlier because apparently if you get your nose broken, for future reference, you need to do it within like as early as possible. And I was in like close to 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks. Like I was there like maybe day 11 or 12.
Well, you waited like a solid 5 days or something first before being like, maybe something is wrong.
I've been hit with balls a lot of times in my life, like in the face, like, you know what I mean.
Sorry, I'm a child.
Like physical balls. I've been hit a lot, so, and I have never broken anything, so I thought naively that it would heal by itself. It would be fine. But yeah, so then he was just like, all right, so I'm gonna insert anesthesia into your nose. And I was like, no. Because like the first ENT was just like, it's going to be so painful. I'm like, okay, if it's going to be so painful, I can't do this without full body anesthesia, because he was like, it's so painful, I don't recommend it, blah, blah, blah. And then this ENT... we don't
necessarily realize how strong anesthesia is, really. Yeah, it really will take you...
But that guy, he looked at me, he's like, you're an American, right? This is an elementary school or could take this surgery, right? And I was just like, what?
He really said,
he's just like, are you a baby? And I was just like, this is all in Japanese, and I was just like blinking at him. I'm just like so confused. One ENT told me this is gonna be so painful, like you can't, like I don't recommend you do this. And then this guy's just like, are you a child? Get on the not even operating table, his table. Yeah. And then he gave me like the anesthesia in the nose. He took whatever that thing is, he pushed it in, and then just cranked it back into place.
You're like, here, a little...
Yeah, and then just like, that was it. Done.
But you know, the thing is, I feel like... I remember I went to an ENT... And this wasn't for a broken nose or anything, but I went to an ENT because I was really, like, my ear was really bothering me. And, like, I'm really prone to sinus infections. We know this.
That's the only thing you get.
Yeah. Great immune system, except for when it comes to my sinuses. And it's over for me. My ear was really bothering me, so I went to an ENT. And, of course, I feel nervous going to a doctor that doesn't speak English, so I searched up an English-speaking ENT and went. And she checks out my ear and she's like, nope, everything looks fine. No problem at all. You're good. She even said, like, I can refer you to a bigger hospital if you don't believe me, which I feel was some sort of, like, passive blackmail until, like, now I have to believe you. I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, okay, I guess my ear is okay. Except for, cut to, like, 2 weeks later, spoiler alert, my ear is still not okay. And just went to a local ENT around where I live. And this woman, same thing. Now this is all in Japanese. But she takes a look at it and she's like, well, you've got a sinus infection. I don't know how long you've had this thing for.
Someone went to medical school.
Yeah, and I think it was you who told me, like, oh, when you're checking out which doctor to go to, you should look at where they went to school.
Yeah, my Japanese friend told me, because that's really important. That's why, like, I guess, like, on all the websites, like, they have their whole, like, academic history, because people judge by that. Because my friend told me that, like, not all doctors are created equal in Japan. Like, some of them are not smart, to say the least. So it's kind of like the
I'm kind of like wondering how they even became a doctor. Like, how did they get their practicing license?
I'm not sure. I wonder, because they don't go to like undergrad and then medical school. They just go straight up to medical school.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how the like education here works, but supposedly which school you get into matters a lot, like, I guess, in terms of like training. And I've heard like that university doctors tend to be better, especially
if they're like at like University of KO University or whatever.
Supposedly. Then like the clinics, the clinics tend to have like older doctors who have broken off into basically their own businesses, right?
Well, yeah, and so that's what's actually kind of crazy is because I especially feel this with like OBGYN is that they don't necessarily keep up to
Yeah,
date
there's no, I don't know.
on what like modern research
going
is.
on,
Like,
yeah.
they have no reason to like go to conferences or to maybe that's the difference. Like university doctors may still be required to
They're
like
doing
be doing
research.
research
research, right? And so they're keeping up
to date with modern medical trends, and a lot of just clinics, those doctors don't have to keep up with modern
Yeah, not if
medical
they don't want
changes.
To.
I think some do if they want to, but a lot of them probably don't.
because we have
A former coworker whose child was born with a cleft lip.
Yeah, they need.
Needed like surgery, and then
yeah,
the surgery.
they
We're gonna do here in Japan, like they first of all they got a second opinion, and when they went back to their home country, the UK, I'm not sure which of the UK, England maybe, they were like, oh, we don't do that surgery anymore. Like that is
20
not
years
old.
that is not an existing practice.
that
Yeah.
anyone does, which just blew my mind. How can you be so behind on where medicine has moved?
But like
A lot of like recent medical discoveries have been discovered by Japan.
Right. This is the
It like blows my
like I don't
mind.
Understand what's happening, what the disconnect is, and I can only think like maybe the licensing regulations are not as strict in terms of like keeping up
yeah, I
with
guess
the latest
so.
things. Because like I remember when I first came here, I thought I might have a UTI, so I went to the doctor, and he gave me antibiotics. And like he took like samples, so I thought he was sure that I had a UTI. I'm like 2 or 3 days into taking these antibiotics, and calls me, "You don't have a UTI. Stop taking them." But I'd already started.
Why did you even give them to me then if you didn't know? Like,
Do you know how dangerous? I'm not even a medical student. Do you know how dangerous that is? Like, you don't give people antibiotics.
Well, that's
like I think it cracks me up. Like, if I go to the doctor and I'm like, oh, I'm just not feeling well, and they're like, oh, we think it's just a cold, but they'll still give you like a mess of medicine to take home, prescription wise, and you're like, but like if it's truly a cold, you don't need all of that. You just need rest and water, and you'll be fine.
yeah. So to answer
The emailer, it's not your shit luck. I think the healthcare in
Japan.
Trash luck.
Oh, trash.
like, oh, I'm so sorry.
how dare you?
You escalate the situation with your vulgar language.
It's not your.
Trash luck. It's
It
It's
is
truly that there is a high level of incompetence in my experience.
my experience too, and I think in Japanese, a lot of my Japanese friends say the same thing. That's why, like, I think recently a lot of doctors got banded together to
that's right.
sue Google.
That's
because
right,
Because there's so many negative reviews on Google. Now, granted, like, the Japanese are such an interesting people. They are so quick to leave bad reviews.
They're so funny.
They're very
funny
You
about
remember
it.
our Anytime Fitness that we like to
Oh my
go
gosh.
to? Like, we went to look at the reviews at Anytime, and it's a nice new location.
It's a beautiful gym, really
good
And it's
equipment,
like a
good layout.
3.5, and like you look at the reviews and people are mad. They're like, the staff doesn't greet us when we walk by. They
You're like,
never. What?
Why do you need the staff to
Talk to you like you have your headphones on anyway. You are going there to get a workout. It's not a social like I mean I guess it could be a social experience, but like you're not socializing with the staff.
Yeah,
They literally will give it like 1 star because the staff don't say hi to them.
And like half the time
not a
like
restaurant.
the staff are big.
Busy working with some other client, like someone signing up for the gym or leaving
like,
or
The staff always greets me.
And also, yeah, I feel like
I always get greeted and always though the one thing that I've noticed at that location is they don't say like otsukare-sama desu as
do
much
to me?
as
Oh.
they do at the other location that I like to go to that's near to
really?
my place.
Every time I leave.
But
Whatever.
they still say thank you every time. I always get like if there's no otsukare-sama desu, I do get an arigatou gozaimasu. So in some way I have been greeted.
Like, it's crazy.
But like, yeah. So to answer the emailer, like she or he, I don't know. They said like, what did they say?
which one? Another doctor.
3 minutes or 4 minutes.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
right?
the quick consultation
so
time.
like, if you look at the reviews of doctors in Japan, like Japanese people get really angry if doctors spend time on the patients. Like that's like one of the things, they took too long, or
Yeah,
like they don't need to
and that's
talk
so
to
weird,
me.
'cause, like for me,
I mean I recognize that I'm coming from a really crazy medical situation coming from the US of expense and whatever, but something that I do really still like about the American medical system is that doctors give you very personalized care. At least I know this is not 100% the case, but I feel more often than not, I have always gotten very personalized care. Like they take time to know you, your name, and whatever. And then here, it's much faster. The consultations are just like, yep, we did it. We asked our necessary questions. We did not ask anything else.
Yeah, they're not very
thorough unless like you force them to be thorough.
Yeah.
But it's not, like they're literally going
multiple times when I'm like,
Can you explain this more? Like, I don't understand this. Can you explain this more? And they're just like, no, you don't need to know. Like, this is all you need. Okay.
Yeah, they don't.
really spend. And like I guess like Japanese people's expectation is that they're fast more than like thorough.
I would rather
Receive good care than just quick care.
Yeah, I guess they're.
I don't know why it needs. There's maybe not enough doctors for the amount of people, so they want it to be quick. Like the wait times in Japan, I have noticed are a lot less than America.
Yeah,
At least,
that's
like,
true.
Like in America, I would wait a long time if I
for
went
sure.
to
Or
a
you show up, you're
For your appointment, if it's at 2 p.m., like, you're not going to see the doctor till 3.
Yeah, so like, but in Japan,
I don't think I've ever really had to wait that much,
No,
except
I think
for
the longest I've waited
Fukuoka,
is
where
like
there's
half an hour.
they have an issue over there.
Well, then, hopefully it wasn't the dentist, because
in Fukuoka, no, this was great.
Because I hear there are many dentists in this country.
Oh yeah.
I think the longest I've ever waited was 30 minutes at the OBGYN.
I think even when I went to the hospital,
Hospital, it was like overall like an hour the whole thing,
Yeah.
like an hour or two. Like they don't keep you waiting long, and I think that is the bedside manner that Japanese people expect. They tend to be angry more at the receptionists
Then the
and,
actual
and
But
sometimes
I have seen quite a few reviews of them saying like, "Oh, this doctor didn't seem to care," and I'm like, "Well, what's the?"
well, like I think the way the doctor speaks, especially if
Yes.
they're old.
It can be quite like they'll speak.
Very bluntly, or even like in very short form Japanese.
I always think like those
Old like guys they're so cute for me. Like the old doctor.
My neighborhood, he's so old, he does not even know about like Google. Like, it was very funny. My partner and I were both super sick. That one had the flu. I had a sinus infection, as always. Whatever. But we go to this guy, and he is like, "Oh, how did you find this clinic?" Because every other patient there was
70 or 80 years old. Okay, like
How did you find the clinic?
Google.
Oh,
But he asked us, "How did you find the clinic?" And we said Google, and he was like, "What is Google?"
Obviously, he doesn't know about no lawsuits.
yeah, we like, and it was
Funny because, you know, now like Google is a verb, and my partner literally said like we Googled using the slang term, and the doctor was like, what Google what is
don't put your doctor in the.
what is Google? And we're like, oh. Online. He goes, online.
Oh my god.
So, but he was actually really good. Like, great bedside manner, very chatty, but also still efficient with the time. So there, he had like a great intersection of getting everything done, but it was just simple. Like, this was classic like NICA stuff, just like internal medicine. Like, obviously this one just needed flu meds, and this one needs to go see an ENT.
But yeah,
End of
I think if
discussion.
you're a
Classic case, but when you have more complicated issues,
Yeah, then I'm not
it's a nightmare.
sure.
I don't know how this emailer got through like 2 doctors with a broken leg, foot.
But now you will know.
No, emailer, that in the future, if anything happens, check where they went to school first.
Yeah, emailer, find a Japanese friend to take you, or
Yeah, just
Good luck, man. There is ginger to this one, but it's rough out there.
Yeah.
A small sprinkle of ginger, as it were.
like
just ginger powder.
check the Google reviews, check where they went to school, see if they're kind of an organized clinic. Like sometimes you can tell like by the website and stuff if it looks like it's made in the, but you're like you can't really tell because your clinic doesn't even have anything.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You can sometimes tell, like, when they're at a newer clinic with a younger doctor, they tend to have quite nice photos and such.
The one who diagnosed me with the broken nose, it was a newer clinic. the reviews like 4.7.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's
I like
We'll have to check that back in a year and see if it's still that high.
Yeah, I mean, but
the doctor seemed like he was maybe in his 50s. He wasn't that old. He was very nice. And even the hospital doctor, I don't think he was young. Maybe he's also 50s. He was also very nice. But it's... If you word of mouth, if you can get like a doctor word of mouth, that's probably your best bet.
Ask people where to go.
Yes, but even then, like one person's experience. You recommended a doctor to me.
Well, that's right. And I even don't like him anymore.
Yeah. Or like I recommended a dentist to a friend.
yeah.
And she ended up hating the experience.
Yes.
But I still love that dentist. Like, I always have a great time.
Yeah.
But I also don't really have any, I don't have any major dental issues. But I got the recommendation off of a friend who has had many different problems, needing, cavities or whatever. And so that's where I got the rec, and I've always had a good time. So then I sent the recommendation to another friend.
And then it didn't work out.
Where, it clearly
It didn't work out for her. So, it's never going to be a foolproof. There's no foolproof way to find a good doctor, but I don't think that that's limited to Japan even.
Yeah.
Even
just-
my sister is always telling me doctors in New York are horrible. Like she refuses to go because she's been in extreme pain and they've left her on the floor for 3 hours.
Oh
so
my gosh.
So it
really just
So maybe
depends.
As an overall society of humans living in the globe, we need to
I think we need more doctors.
band together.
We
and
don't
get
have
more doctors,
yeah.
better doctors.
yeah, we need
doctor reform.
Some ginger.
yeah,
No, I hope your foot
Foot
is better, and I hope you're walking around by now.
I hope your
and
next
birthday is supremely better than this past one.
yeah, hopefully you'll be
walking around on it.
not in and out of doctors'
offices.
yeah
Rough.
All right,
Let's close this up. Any final thoughts on
doctors, or have you said them all?
Google, don't lose.
Google, please? So we need you. We need these reviews.
We need these reviews.
You
can take this one to court with you.
This has been No Ginger. Our podcast is produced in its entirety by Ash and Samar. Special thank you to our emailer and to you, our listener. Subscriptions and DMs are welcome at No Ginger Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or wherever social media is found. Or send submissions to nogingerpodcast@gmail.com. If you got a problem,
we'll put it on the podcast.
bye.